Hey guys, today we're revving up the Wayback Machine and taking a look at this Zoid, the Snakes from the original Japanese release. Since this is an 80s Zoid, I'll not only unbox it and show it to you in action, but I also filmed myself building it, so strap in and let's get the show on the road.
Robo-Shop.
Alright, so let's get a look at this box here as per usual. First of all, you'll notice it says Snakes here. The Stealth Viper name, as far as I know, is actually an NJR thing. The original name was Snakes and then Snake for the European release. Yeah, so the Zoids graphics version, by the way, which I also have, but have never built, or at least I don't think so, was also called Snakes, and comes in exactly the same colors, if I remember correctly. Anyway, we've got this nice diorama picture here with the usual desert background. This time it actually is a desert. On the back here we have this illustration of two snakeses. Let's go with snakeses. Two of these guys attacking a hellcat. And we have, as per usual, some custom ideas here. There's like a transport version here and like a super heavy like tank version in kind of a weird camo pattern. Yeah, otherwise there's not really a whole lot unusual on this box, so I am just gonna open this sucker. All the tape has been cut for some reason, but this looks to be complete. Let's see here. We have the head that I don't know what this is. So here's the bag with the pilot, the canopy, and a single wheel, or I mean, should say like appears to be sort of a tire type thing that probably helps this with traction. And then we have the big bag with the rest parts, which doesn't want me to open it, but I'm going to. Here we go. Whoops. Oh no, don't ruin the leaflet. All right, let's take a look at this first. We've got the usual promo leaflet. This should be an earlier version. No, I think this is the exact same one that I showed you guys in my most recent OJR review. Yeah, it's the same one. Cool, though. I mean, it's always great to see these. Then we have the stickers. Helix symbol here. These red stripes that go on the guns, and just a bunch of the usual, basically. Yeah, I was holding it upside down. RMZ005, and here the, alert stickers, emblems, the usual. The instructions have actually lasted pretty well. These are nowhere near as yellowed as some other instructions from the 80s that I've seen. Yeah, as you can see, very simple build, all of 11 steps and 33 parts. Let's take a look at the sprues. I'm not going to do these in order, just in the order that they're stacked up here. We have this sort of light gray color here for, I'm guessing this is like the underbelly here, missile launcher. Not sure what this is. This is the bottom part of the cockpit, guns, more underbelly. And then the back armor is the other two sprues, which is in this very nice olive drab color, missile launchers, the armor that goes on the heads, more guns. Can we just, take a moment to appreciate the fact that this is a tiny little wind-up Zoid that comes in 33 parts, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 armaments, folks. I'm just saying there's something to be learned from that potentially for future Zoids releases. Anyway, these are the armor bits that go on the tail. This is the top of the cockpit. This is the middle part of the torso that houses the motor, and more armor for the back here. All right, you know what happens next. I'm going to get these parts off the sprues. You don't need to watch me do that. And then we are going to see how this thing goes together. Yeah, I forgot to mention that I was also totally going to stab myself and then badly tape it up with physiotherapist tape because I can't be bothered to properly take care of myself. But what can I say, man? I'm 45 years old and I still stab myself. Every kit I build, I bleed. Anyway, let's get started here. We start with the cockpit. Number one. Should also note in passing, by the way, that while I did lay the parts out very neatly here and mostly out of frame, it's not really necessary because the parts on these 80s kits are always they're always numbered in the order that you assemble them, as I struggle to put this canopy in here. Okay, that was harder than it looked. Also doesn't entirely seem to want to fit. Okay, now the instructions are telling me to put in the pilot, which of course I will not do because I am not a savage or a heathen. Next, doesn't seem to be any particular order that I have to do this in, so the head goes here, right? Yep. And then the Cobra armor thing goes here. Now you can also see how nicely the light gray and the olive drab go together. It's just a really awesome color combo. Next we have the front wheel, which goes together like so. If I can figure this out. Wait. Oh, right. Yeah, like that. How do pegs go into peg holes? Quite difficult, yeah. Now we put this on the cockpit, which, by the way, is... I'm going to have to do a quick comparison, actually, afterwards to the Terrace cockpit, because this does seem to be the same one, but I mean the peg holes here for the support wheel are pretty specific, so I wonder if this is a unique mold. Now we put, hold on, this goes in here, that's right, and this, whoops, hold on, how is this supposed to go together? Like that. Okay. Peg to hold it in place. Don't like this. There's like basically no friction holding this in place other than the peg here. And if you've had any of your Zoids for as long as I've had mine, then you know that these caps have a tendency to get dry, and once they get dry, if they're under tension, they crack, and then yeah, and then they don't hold things in place anymore. Anyway, that's the neck joint. Now, we put together this wheel contraption here. So the tire, according to the instructions, oh yeah, there's a groove on the inside, and you put it on like so. All right, here we go. I have to say, I'm always fascinated by how elastic this rubber stays. I mean, this thing is at this point going on 40 years, you know, and this took quite a bit of force to get this on here, but it didn't crack. Now, also, of course, as soon as it's exposed to the elements, it's actually going to start cracking. But anyway, let's finish putting this together here. We have this, which goes here. Is this supposed to be this loose? Let's see. Evidently it is. That also looks symmetrical, so I guess that's right. Now, we have this big tub into which we fit, in order of assembly, the motor, like that, the wheels, like so, and then we close it all up, preferably not by putting this on backwards. Goes on like this, and yep, that works. Okay, here we go. By the way, I meant to say earlier, the reason why these kits are so much easier to navigate than some of the later models is not just because the parts are molded or the parts are numbered in the order that you actually need them, which isn't always true, actually, because some kits, like when they're modified versions of older ones, you know, like the Godos is basically a modded Garius. In those cases, actually, sometimes the numbering isn't correct. But how does this work? Oh, like so. Okay. But the parts all have the numbers molded into them as well, which 99 out of 100 times, the head tubes on the Gordos being the great exception. If you've seen those, then you know what I mean. 99 out of 100 times, that's great. Because it makes these kits super easy to navigate, and also, of course, I would argue actually kit friendlier than more modern Zoids kits. And I hope you don't mind me just blathering on while I'm putting together these more or less identical tail pieces here. It's kind of interesting how, you know, when you look at this mechanism here, and how that evidently works, and it's like the kind of mechanism you would expect on the tail of like a larger dinosaur Zoid. So really, this whole Zoid is just like, it's like a big, you know, lizard tail with a head on it. Which, of course, when you think about it, is basically what a snake is. Sorry, snake owners. I hope I didn't just say something offensive. And oh, wow, look at that. We are on the last of the rubber caps. We actually used them all, which reminds me of another thing I meant to say, by the way. 33 parts is actually quite involved for this type of kit. Like for a wind-up from the 80s, that's a lot of parts. Anyway, the last thing we need to do is to put on some of these, come on, some of these cannons here, or rather all of these cannons here. Here we go. And, oh, that's the idea here. You can, okay. Did I assemble the head incorrectly? Let me take another look at that afterwards. Here's another law of nature. Every time I build one of these, I make a mistake and I make an ass of myself somehow. La-di-da. La-di-da. Okay, now let's get another look at this head. Yeah, so I had put it together correctly, but I didn't realize that. And I don't think the instructions actually mention this. No, they don't. Or, well, they kind of do, but not really. See, this head is actually meant to be posable. See, you can, there's this piece here that allows you to move it all the way up. And then it looks like that. And the wheel actually tucks in here, like so. Or you snap it down one step, and then the wheel is on the ground, and the head looks like that. Okay, anyway, listen, you guys know what happens next. I'm going to put the stickers on this, and then we're going to take it to the photo booth. So I will see you in a bit. Alright, let's start with comparisons. I don't have a Stealth Viper, but here's the more important comparison, which is to the European version. This one was called Snake with a Z, and it was one in a pretty long line of faction switches. I really like the way that the red canopy looks for some reason that I can't explain, but other than that I could really go either way as far as the color schemes go. They're both pretty great. Also, here's a comparison to the Zark, which was the European version of Terrace. Like I said earlier, I just wanted to see if the two cockpits were the same as I suspected, and well, they are. And here's the Snakes in the company of two other OJR windups I have because, I don't know, because I didn't have any other comparisons to do that made sense, and I've never done reviews of these two. There's also a joke in here somewhere about one-eyed snakes, but you know me, I'm above that sort of thing. Let's go check it out in action. And yeah, you'll have to excuse the garbage tier footage here, but as you can see, this thing moves so damn fast that there's no way to film it inside my photo booth, and even doing this on my living room floor was a problem. I really wanted to show it off though, because, well, it's pretty awesome. Finally, here's a look at the head posing gimmick. You can have it down with the wheel touching the ground, or up like this. What's funny about this, of course, is that the Zoid is clearly a cobra, which is a snake, but it's not a viper. But, you know, we're talking about a franchise here where a liger is a lion type. Anyway, that's about everything I've got to show you guys. I'd like to thank my patron Major Kong for donating this guy to the channel, and also to my personal collection, because I have to say I really like it. The collars are great, the movement looks cool, and for me personally, the skeletal look of these old Republic Zoids just never gets old. And I'll never not have a soft spot in my heart for Zoids whose head is basically an airplane cockpit. Come to think of it, I need to do some reviews of the whiteheads actually. If you want to see that, or if you're a fan of Zoids or mecha modeling, or generally an individual of refined tastes, right about now would be a good time for you to hit the subscribe button and give this video a like while you're poking around down there. If you'd like to help me out with my Zoids budget, I have Patreon and PayPal links in the description, but it already helps if you don't skip over the ads while you're watching my videos, and give them a like while you're watching to let the algorithm know that it should show my stuff to more people. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.